Hey, welcome. Oh, my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Got a nice lesson for you today, an area that I'm pretty proficient at. So we're going to talk about it again. I know you're tired of hearing about it, but that's what I do. Try to enlighten you. Today, writers, let's go. Writers in 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story. I give stories for life. That's what I do for you. Life lessons that you can live by, that you can learn, and hopefully make good decisions with the lessons that I'm giving you. That's the purpose of them. So let's go. And I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate all your support. Let's go. And the comments, I read them all and I address them. Oh, it ain't a lot, but I'm happy. I appreciate you. Let's go. Right thinking mission. Yeah, you know what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Stop that fake, phony nonsense. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers do just that. Know themselves. That's why I give you the life lessons for that purpose only. It ain't about me. Let's go. Know thyself is the question that I ask because you need to do just that. Know yourself. A person who knows not and knows not that they even know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's what I do. I got you. Stay tuned. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. Knowledge of self. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to do what I do. Wake you up with knowledge of self so you can be your best you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinking, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. I keep letting you or try to get you to understand the importance of my eye. And I give you a sign of balance. That's why. Because without balance, everything is out of kilter. It won't work. So you need balance. Universe, cosmos, and in your life. So today lesson, right thing, let's talk about when your ego is in control. He talking about the ego. Yes, I'm talking about the ego again. Why? Because a lot of us don't even comprehend that they have an ego or that they've been driven by that ego. That's ignorance, lack of knowledge of your higher self. Okay, so let's talk about it. If you're ego driven, you don't know your higher self. If you did, you had the ego under control. That's my area that I'm proficient in. Let's go. First of all, the worst kind of person is the one who's gained success by his egoistic ways and tendencies. So to them, they don't have a problem. Success breeds personal egoistic contentment. That's what they do. There you go. And they don't see it. They don't recognize it. Why? Because it's paying off for them. They're benefiting from it. But it has a downside. Always understand that. If you're doing something that has a downside, you shouldn't do that. Just saying. Let's go. I teach my right thinkers about people like that when daily. That's my life lesson to get you to know about these kind of people also. And every now and then I got to give you a lesson specifically about them. That's what this one's for. So, and those kind of people, come a dime a dozen. Those egoistic people, just like the ignorant people, ain't no difference. They just have a bigger ego that they can use to get where they want to go. With a other ignorant person don't generate themselves or motivate themselves to do nothing with the ego except just yabba 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 yabba, so it goes nowhere. But if you're successful with your egoistic tendencies and ways, you happy. You think, okay, that's fine. And yeah. Now if you have yet to control your ego and you became successful, 9 times out of 10, you're not. So at a certain point, that scenario is out the window. Why? You're not gonna get somebody to stop doing what works for them and If you're egoistic and you're successful, that's what's working for you, your ego. So they won't change. Understand that. That's why they become dangerous. Okay? They think they know. Why? Because they're successful in what they're doing. So you can't tell them nothing. They're not wrong. Ego driven. Ego driven. If you're the boss or CEO or whatever you want to call yourself, and you're egoistic, watch this. None of your people will like you. They're forced to respect your authority and who you are, but they won't like you as a person. And if you get a compliment about how good what you're doing is, but you as a person need to check you. Yeah, it's cool to be respected for what you do. And yeah. But really, they can't stand you. Okay? Understand that part. That's where the rub comes in for you egoistic people. Y'all get phony love, fake love. Okay? That just because, they applaud you, yeah. hmm When your ego is in control, it's the next one. You're not a good person at heart. That's the difference between an egoistic person and a spiritual person, or supposed to be a good person. Egoistic people got black hearts. When you use your position of power to manipulate people to get what you want and treat them where you want, you get yours. Trust me. As long as you're successful here, you think it's all good. Trust me. I'm the spiritual. I know the deal. I remember asking my pastor, watch this. Are church going people different than street people who don't go to church? Just my pastor, who I respect over 40 years of friendship, told me, no, brother, right? There ain't no difference. And that's coming from somebody who knows. I respect his opinion. I thought there was a difference. See, you could be wrong. That's why you ask somebody who knows. If you think something, no foundation, no reason to think it. Why are you thinking it, first of all? But if you think something, get proof. That's what you got to do. That's called learning. Do the due diligence. If I don't know something, Google it. Find out. So understand that. But of course you go to church, of course you're in a position, you ain't no different than nobody else. Understand that. But when you're egoistic, you think you're better. So you're gonna condescendingly deal with everybody you deal with, and that's another thing that's very disrespectful to those who not what you call beneath you or under you. When you claim to be a God-fearing person, knowing you're not, but you're really money driven, you using God, that's called still the name of the Lord. I told you about them kind of people. That's the egotistic ones. That's them. Same thing. Okay? By any name, their game is still the same. So the name don't make a difference. Is what they do. They show you who and how they are. When you're ego driven, these are things that's important to you. Money, power, accolades, admiration, and everybody bowing and acquiescing to your every whim. That's the ego person. Okay? I'm just saying. Everybody bows to you to satisfy and massage your ego. That's all you want. That's all you care about. You do anything to get that. So that's why they do what they do. When they get caught, then they're sorry. Remember that lesson too. When your ego is in control, you live in heaviness, not in Egypt, but you live in denial of what? Being wrong about anything you do. You justify everything you do in your mind so that you can do it and think it's okay. But guess what? You have to answer to a higher authority. So knock yourself out. Again, moving on. But I'm making the understanding that if you think what you're doing is right, think again. Moving on. When your ego, here you go, when your ego is in control, doing what's right is not a priority for you. Doing what you want to do is your agenda. That's the ego. All of your white collar criminals are what? Egoistic. Excuse me. Because they only think of who? Themselves. If you're a leader and you're egoistical, all you care about is you. So If you one of them guys when the ship is going down and things get front, oh, you don't care about nothing except saving your own butt. So saying going out the ship, oh no, you ain't doing none of that. So that's the egoistic people, okay? Where we at now? Egoistic people will say one thing, told you about them, and do something else. Always. They don't see the wrong in it, and they don't see themselves. So, and because they're in a position, nobody tells them. So they just keep going on their merry way, doing the same thing, pissing people off, upsetting people who ain't really got to deal with their nonsense. That's why everybody deal with them got to be beneath them. They want total control and power. If you don't know about your ego, and most of them don't, how can you ever control it? It's like a problem. If you don't know you have a problem, 9 times out of 10, you ain't thought twice about trying to solve it. At least if you know there's a problem, that's half the problem solved right there. Why? The fact that you know you have one. If you don't know about your ego, you don't have a clue about you, but you claim to know. You don't know personally. When I was ego driven, ignorant, I did a lot of things wrong intentionally. Why? Serving me. Again, fully aware, okay. But in my mind, I was always right. Wrong as 2 left shoes. Ain't nothing right about what I was doing, how I was living. But in my mind, I'm right. Until the judge showed me otherwise. Don't worry. We all have a judge in life. That's what they call it, Judgment Day. Get the concept? Let's go. I'm not here to teach that, but I'm just putting you in check about them kind of people. When you're a leader of people, you're not in control of your ego, you're a bad leader. Selfish, ignorant, all those things that make a bad leader, that's you. But in your mind, because you're above reproach, nobody be able to tell you that. I will. When your ego is in control, you do, watch this, what's only good for, again, you. Egoistic people don't think about others. That's what they got it. The ego. Remember the acronym? Now, I'm surprised I went this long without putting it out there. The ego is edging God out. You are you. Enjoy the ride. I was one of those people who used to use people to my likings. So I know your kind. I used to be like you. I changed. So if you still that person I used to be, we ain't the same people. At one time we was. I was partners with egoistic person. I saw ego at its best firsthand, up close and personal. And I vowed I would not let that run me. So I don't have money issues. Okay. I don't have egoistic issues about it ought to be about me. No. Different. When you choose stuff or things such as money, reputation, over doing what's right, that's the ego. Ego ain't gonna submit. No. You have to put him in a chokehold. If you don't choose to do that, then he's still gonna have his way with you. No matter what you say, think, or do, yeah, he's still running you because you still who you are. You ain't changed a bit. When your only concerns is you and your reputation, you're ego driven. You're an egoistic person. Simple as that. And we all know them kind of people. I'm speaking from, remember, I'm only speak and teach concepts from experience and observation and having knowledge of what I'm talking about. If I didn't have control of my ego, hear me, I would be in jail again, but not for drug dealing, but ass kicking. So I have control of the ego. Last one, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm getting a little irritated. I'm trying to get through this without having that come up, but I'm trying to get done. I'm really getting past this, hopefully. When your ego is in control, I'm about to wrap up this last section, will always be, trust me, this one I learned from somebody else. Again, a lesson learned in life. Why? I'm not doing that. When your ego is controlled, you will always end up alone when you serving yourself. and disrespect and misuse and mistreat everybody else, when it comes down to it, all you're going to have is you. That's alone. Why? Because the ego, God ain't with you. You by yourself. That's what the ego is. You done edged God out and took total control. Now it's all about me. And when you're successful, that's working for you. But when it's all said and done, now you got to pay the price. Let's go. And most of y'all start like a little baby, start crying and whining. Yeah, they all do. Real men take it. Others cry. I was raised by an egoistic man, and I loved him because he's my dad, not for the man that he was. That's when you come enlightened. That's when the shade, the veil of ignorance is raised. You can see somebody for who they really are. You can tell them about themselves. I'm telling you about you. That's what I do. He had the world his way. He mistreated everyone that dealt with him, including moi. Took a hit. Like everybody else who thought, yeah. But selfish is as selfish does. And at the end, was nobody there. He had no kid coming. Witness. So I'm only telling you what I know. So if you choose to follow that road, oh, don't worry. It's the ending to that one too. Moving on. And I know a lot of egoistic people now who don't know they are egoistic, but they claim to know themselves or discover themselves, whatever they want to call it, but don't have a clue. Why? I see you. When you're stubborn, aka egoistic, ignorant of your higher self, most of the time they end up what? By themselves. There's a reason for that. I want to go out with my great grandkids, standing around like I see my my grandfather did. When you're a good dude, when it's your time, you take it gracefully. You don't kick and scream. Ah! No. Why? Because all that fun that you had here, now it's time to pay up. That's the difference. I put in work, so I ain't worried about it. So last one. Your ego will run your friends, your family, your loved ones, all away until when? Your dying day. And then they come back and pay respect while you in the box with no more your smart, egoistic nonsense to deal with. Half of them jumping around and half of them, yeah, he's dead. Yeah, good. And I deal with his nonsense no more. Right quick. If you live respected, you'll die regretted. If people don't miss you when you leave here, you wasn't a good person. And a lot of us in that casket, some people glad to see it been there. So if you're that kind of person, good luck. I'm not. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Hope you got it. I'm out.